Mitchell Robinson is set to return for the New York Knicks in March. And while some fans are happy about him returning, other fans are questioning what it might mean to the starting lineup regarding Hartenstein starting or Mitch starting. And if you look at what Carmelo Anthony said, a Knick legend, he actually stated on his podcast that he was surprised the New York Knicks didn't trade Mitch at the trade deadline, and he believes they should have. We're going to break down exactly what he said and why some people are fearful about Mitch returning and what it could possibly mean to the lineup. All of this and so much more today. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. And make sure you have notifications turned on so you don't miss a second of the new content. And now, let's get started. Melo thinks that the New York Knicks should have traded Mitchell Robinson at the trade deadline. I don't know why Mitch is catching so many strays. For me, I remember Mitchell Robinson during the beginning of the season. Now, obviously, he doesn't have the same offensive bag as Isaiah Hartenstein. I understand that. But other than that, in terms of his defense, his shot blocking, the fear he puts into other players when they're shooting over him or shooting against him, you can't replace that. He gives the Knicks all of that and then some. The offensive rebounding that he gives the Knicks. By the way, when he was healthy, he was a leader for offensive rebounding percentage. The Knicks would be getting him back. I just don't understand why so many people are worried about Mitchell Robinson returning to the lineup and what it could mean for this Knicks team. In my opinion, the Knicks get better with him returning, not worse. But if you listen to this latest clip from Carmelo Anthony's podcast, you can clearly hear where he states he was shocked that the New York Knicks didn't move on from Mitchell Robinson during the trade deadline. Let's roll this clip.
Are you getting rid of, not getting rid of, are you letting Mitchell Robinson go to keep Hartenstein? If that's the scenario.
If I can get him for the low, I'm getting him for the low.
Get who for the low?
Mitch.
Oh, no, it's over for that.
What low? The man lead the league in blocks.
Ain't no low.
If it's no low, I'm trying to see what I can get in return. On the GM tip.
He's the best shot blocker in the game.
On the emotional Knicks tip, I don't want to see Mitch go.
I know the Knicks are mad that they couldn't trade him before the deadline.
That's a fact. But with Mitchell, you got to really think about his value of what he brings to the game. With the pieces that the Knicks have now, Julius getting his shoulder right, getting his mind right. Now you got OG at the 3, put Bogdanovich at the 2, you put Jalen Brunson at the 1. Your bench is Alec Burke coming off, Hartenstein coming off. You got pieces now.
Did you catch it? It was subtle. But when Joe Budden, the special guest on Carmelo Anthony's podcast, was talking about the Knicks, he stated, you know the Knicks are mad that they couldn't move Mitchell Robinson before the trade deadline. And then Carmelo Anthony says, that's a fact. Melo saying that's a fact for me was the biggest shocker of this entire clip because I didn't expect that. It kind of threw me for a left for a little bit. I went, because that was a little bit shocking coming from Melo. You didn't expect him to say that. And then you hear him saying that with the Knicks having Isaiah Hartenstein and Mitchell Robinson coming back, the Knicks are going to have to make a choice. Do you keep Robinson or do you keep IHart? And I don't think it has to be a choice, at least not for this season. For this season, it's all about the matchup. Some matchups, I would rather have Mitch start. Some other matchups, I would rather have IHart start. That's what I think the Knicks need to do. If you're Tom Thibodeau, that's exactly what you need to do given the talent you have on this roster. Moving forward, it's going to be very interesting to see what the Knicks do with IHart and Mitch because Mitch is more of Tom Thibodeau's style of player. He's a defensive-minded center. He grabs the boards. He'll clean up under the rim in terms of putback dunks. He'll pass it out to the other shooters when he's available and those passes are open. So he can do all of that to an extent. Now, Hartenstein can do all of that, but he can also add an offensive element to his game that Mitchell Robinson just doesn't have. Now, maybe Mitch grows into it and he gets it, but look how many years he's been in the league. Some people question whether he can have that offensive impact in a game at this stage in his career and moving forward. Hartenstein has already showed you he's capable of making those moves and making those shots, and he can pass the ball extremely well. So if you're a Knicks fan and if you're the Knicks organization, you might be thinking to yourself, come this summer, who do I want to go forward with? Is Hartenstein the better player or is Mitch the better player? And honestly, that goes based off of your coach, your roster construction, and who's going to be paid the most money. Hartenstein is playing himself into a massive payday. I think he's going to get more money when it's said and done on a year-to-year basis than Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson and his contract, it goes down. Descending contract in terms of money. So that's in favor for the New York Knicks. That's what you want if you're a New York Knicks GM. And honestly, if you're looking to trade Robinson down the road, that's a trade piece you can have down the road. So he helps you now, in the future. And if you want to make that superstar trade, he probably helps you there too. But if the Knicks make that superstar trade this offseason, depending on who they target, maybe Mitch is included in that deal. And if he is, then that gives the Knicks all the right to go ahead and sign Isaiah Hartenstein back to another long-term deal and keep him for their center of the future, if that's what they want to do. It all is going to play out to this offseason. This offseason is shaping up to be one of the most important offseasons for the New York Knicks. There's going to be a number of stars available, probably a number of disgruntled stars available, and we don't know who those stars are going to be yet. It hasn't all panned out yet. But once it does, and the Knicks have a full scope of who's available and who they need to give up in a potential trade, that's going to set the stage in terms of what they do in the offseason, who they sign, who they trade, and who they keep. Hartenstein, for me, is definitely better on the offensive side. In terms of defense, he's very, very good. But I can't lie, Mitch's defense is just a little bit better, almost in each and every way. Rebounding, Mitch is a little bit better. Shot blocking, Mitch is a little bit better. In terms of putting that fear in a defender or a player that's going up against him, Mitch is just better in that regard. But offensively, passing the ball, playmaking, Hartenstein clears Robinson, and it's no question. I'm not going to argue that point. But in terms of who fits better for Tom Thibodeau, if you're looking between the two, I would have to go with Robinson, just because if you look at the last few years, look at the last few seasons, Tom Thibodeau has always gone with Mitchell Robinson starting. Now, maybe you want to make the argument that Tom Thibodeau didn't know that Hartenstein had this in his game, had this in his bag. And now that he knows that, maybe now he can't go back. Now it has to be Hartenstein starting and Mitchell Robinson coming off the bench. It has to be that now. Maybe that's where you're at. I don't know, and I don't think any of us are really going to understand that until Robinson is back fully healthy. Notice I say fully healthy because I anticipate when he comes back, he's going to come off the bench because they want to bring him along slowly. But once he's fully healthy and he has no minutes restriction, then I think it's going to come up to a choice at that point. What is Thibodeau going to want to do? Is he going to want to go back to what he had in the beginning of the season? Or is he going to want to ride out what's been working currently with Hartenstein starting? It's going to be interesting. It's good to have that type of depth and those type of choices on the table to make. Either way, Tom Thibodeau has to be the guy to make that call. And we've seen from the past, he likes to go with what he thinks will work. And what he usually likes is going back to things that he usually played in the past. And oftentimes, that likely means he's going to play Mitch over Hartenstein, and Mitch is going to get the starting nod once he's fully healthy. I do believe that. But if Mitch doesn't step up, maybe Tom Thibodeau will switch it up. Maybe Hartenstein will start and Mitch will come off the bench. Again, very interesting choices coming up for the Knicks, Tom Thibodeau, and what they're going to do moving forward for this season and the playoffs. Depending on matchup, in my opinion, that's how the Knicks need to do it. If you're facing off against the Cavs, I would probably want Mitchell Robinson starting because we saw what they did last year against him. Nothing. Mitchell Robinson stopped both Mobley and Allen. If he did that last year, I think he could do it again this year, especially with the pieces that the Knicks have now. Upgraded pieces that you can't leave, shooters that you can't leave. But if the Knicks are playing maybe Boston or the Philadelphia 76ers, then I might want somebody like Isaiah Hartenstein out there, somebody who's a little bit more versatile on both the defensive end and the offensive end, who can pass the ball, but who can also score when you need him to as well. And he can take pressure off of your other scorers in Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle. So in those type of matchups, in those scenarios, that's what I would do. All in all, I don't know about you guys, but for me, I'm very happy, I'm excited, and I'm hyped that Mitchell Robinson's coming back. He's going to be able to give rest to our other big men in the front court, like Achua, like Hartenstein, like Sims to an extent. We're going to have everybody available, healthy very, very soon. That's going to make the Knicks deep and dangerous. And again, you already know where I stand on this. If Hartenstein is available and Mitch is available and you're facing the 76ers or you're facing the Cavs, play them and start them based off matchups. You do that, I think this Knicks team is going to have a very hard time losing. Yes, losing, because they have the roster constructed in a way that's going to lead this team to victory each and every night. And that's only going to get supported even more once Mitch comes back. But what about you guys? Were you shocked as well by Melo's comments regarding the Knicks potentially being upset at the fact that they couldn't move Robinson at the deadline? Let me know in the comments below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below, and of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knick fans. Peace.